I'm going to be talking about why Dallas is a horrible place to make conscious friends. And it's a discussion about what's also happening on the internet, because they haven't made it easy to find those conscious people that may be in existence. They are interfering with our lives. But a lot of people aren't at that level. A lot of people don't realize that our face is our barcode, and has been for some time before they told us. Even before they had a scan, right, to use certain apps, which they're doing now, they were already scanning our face. They were already scanning my face. As I spoke for years on YouTube about very important issues that a lot of different demographics and regions and ethnicities should hear, I've been oppressed. I've been suppressed for a long, long time. Well, now we're here in 2026, and after 20 years of speaking about these things, I have found myself in the Dallas area. I've been here about 6 years, and it all has to do with being targeted by my YouTube audience from my main channel and having to move away from the land that I owned outright in Pagosa Springs, Colorado. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon, but Portland, Oregon, one of the widest cities in America, isn't really anti-racist. That's just what they want you to think. That's what they want you to believe, right? So there isn't necessarily a better place on the planet, and because I feel rejected by blue state people. So when we deal with, systemic racism and anti-themism, we're dealing with more people than just the right. We're dealing with a larger percentage of the modern America that has been affected dramatically, consciously from these wars. Instead of becoming empathetic to people that are half-half or ethnic, or people that are probably the first in line to face some of these things as we enter into the next dark chapter of this ethno-state reality, there's just no compassion. So here in Dallas, you would think amongst the activist communities, the progressive, the LGBT, that there would be some sort of openness. And the reality is that this is a dark place that has infected everybody. Now, I don't know exactly why I'm here, but I suspect that I'm here for some sort of Jedi training. I've lived in isolation in the mountains, I've lived in the desert, and I've now been here 6 years. And it's actually very difficult for me to break outside this box, outside this urban cage. Basically, to relocate, I'd have to make new friends all over again. And it seems like, even when I reach people in other places, they're so affected by the current events that they don't want to help. So I find myself stuck here because of the nature of reality, and ultimately I took a gamble, I took a chance when I came here, but I did it knowing that I would be moving into a sea of black and brown, and I felt that that would need to be something that I would need to move towards. As white supremacy got worse where I was in Colorado, through the staring and the harassment and the doxing, I felt ultimately like I was pushed out of the blue state northern regions into the south. And as I look at my experience and many people that have come here in recent years from other countries, it seems to be a place in which there's suffering, especially for people that are ethnic, that aren't white, that aren't black, that aren't Hispanic. And I don't have a Muslim community to turn to. I'm not exactly Muslim. What I am racially is half-half. So I don't really fit into any dominant ethnic group, be they Indian, Muslim, people from certain countries, because I'm from America. And I'm into really weird, deep ideas, the paranormal, what some people call conspiracies, but I resent that. I talk about deep, deep subjects. I'm anti-authoritarianism. To a certain degree, I'm anti-government, but I see certain positive aspects of government, so I'm not a full-on anarchist because I don't have faith in the modern humanity to actually do the right thing if left to their own devices. So what I'd like to do, in theory, is organize a meetup of conscious people. There's other videos that I've made about the meetup topic, right? And how I believe that is the solution. So what we're dealing with right now, though, however, is a society that is almost demonically possessed with its unapologetic addiction to social media and screens. And so even if you're dealing with an Hispanic woman, right? They're addicted to these technologies, and they're being influenced by the vox populi, by the popular consensus. So it may not be necessarily white supremacy, but there are like certain aspects of the modern normie, regardless of the race, right? So it may not be white supremacy, but there's usually a tone of anti-themism, the hate of people that really don't fit in, whether it be their heritage or the fact that they're short, right? So right now, I'm very awake. I'm one of the few people on the planet that's actually predicted a variety of things that are now coming into manifestation. And then some things already did come to pass, and then some things won't come to pass for some time. But I think that it's coming sooner than later. This town and the people in it are allergic to the light. They're infected by the Texas politics, even though it's known as like, you know, it's perceived to be like a blue city, like the Dallas area. Out here, where I'm outside of Dallas, and I'm in one of the suburbs, with a mix of Hispanic, black, and white as the dominant demographics, there's like a heavy overtone of slavery. There's never a protest, no matter what's going on in the world, as far as, you know, people pushing back against injustice and things of that nature. You never see signs of it here. There are certain signs and certain things like Black Lives Matter when it's something that the establishment is pushing, which they did with that. There isn't really a movement that is inclusive, that is welcoming to a variety of people. Even when it comes to the anti-war protests, of course, I haven't been to any. It's not inclusive. You'll have like a bunch of people from a certain group, usually a certain ethnicity, and they'll go down to the same block in downtown where a lot of people don't go. A lot of people don't go to downtown Dallas. There's nothing great to do there. The parking probably sucks in a lot of areas. It's crime-ridden. Okay, it lacks cool things to do. And so going down as part of a ritual is not inclusive. Having this ritual of downtown Dallas where a lot of people don't go, it's exclusive to those few Dallas people, you know, that may happen to care. But in the greater Dallas-Fort Worth area, it's one big giant hive mind of humans that overall are brainwashed and possessed by the system, with a certain percentage of them being really key to holding up the military-industrial complex. So you think about the people that live in Dallas, the West Village. You look at the people that came here from other places to work for Texas Instruments or other corporations that relate to the military-industrial complex or the surveillance state, such as AT&T, right? So there is like a sense of great corruption, so great that it seems like there's an organized mafia group here that probably specializes in human trafficking. So for a person from Oregon who was priced out of Oregon, who had a hard time finding love in Oregon, who had a hard time being respected by white liberals in Oregon, right? It's a longer, more detailed story about rejection from society as to why I would even come here. And it's not a society that I can give back to. It's a society that I can study. It's a society that basically represents what the model is for what we can call the New World Order or the White World Order. Basically the system in general. And there's just like a sense of an underground of a lot of pedophilia and a lot of molestation and a lot of broken dreams. So there is no real hope that I can see for the people in this community, especially the younger people. And costs are going up. It's number 4 in America for people that are, feeling broke, that they don't have enough money. So when you have that combined with a lack of spirituality, you have crime, you have vicious crime, you have stuff that emerges in the news, like somebody being stripped of their clothing when they went to go, to a Facebook meetup or sale. So you're seeing like the level of depravity on full display. We are seeing this everywhere. That is true. And one of the common themes here is 5G. Not to mention that, but unlimited 5G. on a lot of cell phone plans in which people are basically fried 24/7 from the smart meters, and from the current events, right? And even though you have Mexican, you have white, you have black, it's a farce to see Dallas as conscious or progressive in any way, shape, or form. These people are abnormally segregated. So if you're somebody who's half this, half that, you can't necessarily fit into their clubs, even if you're sane and doing everything right. Okay? Now, with all the amount of people here, millions and millions of people, you would think that I would be able to find some men or women to talk to. And there's something about this place that has them in a trance-like state of consciousness. I haven't met one decent man here, and it hurts that we're living in a day and age of collective punishment, of judgment, of a lot of women hating men and distrusting men. And so I found it very difficult, because of the quality of men here and in the world in general, to have anything to do with these women, to make a friend. And I believe that women have value when they're focused and they're centered. The things that they can do spiritually are great. And I'm seeing a war right now erupt on the internet towards men, women telling other women don't have anything to do with spiritual men, and basically judging everybody, at the same time that we're seeing men and women judge all people that are ethnic as worthless, right? So there is a dark attitude within this culture and this region that just bullies people and puts people down. The energy here is slave master energy, okay? The people here have a slave mind, and so they've been adulterated. And we are basically barreling forward towards the future. What will be the outcome of this reality? What is the destiny of these people in Dallas? Well, anything can happen at any point in time. What I have speculated about is that this is not going to be the first place to fall as America falls. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is in the eye of the beholder, But they seem to, the establishment that is, have a plan for this place. That's why there are drones that are being dispatched that are actually spying on immigrants. There is this whole surveillance network. We have the flock cameras here, and it's all going into DHS. Well, there's a lot of people going Ice Ice Baby, and they support this. They don't have the intelligence, even though they think that they are the superior race. But they're actually inferior, because they don't see how future tyrannical systems are going to use these technologies against them down the line, whether they be gun owners or other groups. Like, there is going to be a white oppression. I don't know about a white genocide, but there is going to be a white oppression down the line in a future America. Like, we are facing World War III. We are facing invasion. We are facing karma, collectively and individually. And remember, karma is both positive and negative. So get out there and get yourself some positive karma. I'm doing this right now so that I can create some positive karma for myself by helping other people see what's going on. So as we experience this collective karma as Americans, when we face a human trafficking nightmare, when we go broke, places like Dallas are going to be extra affected, because you have a lot of women here without partners, right, that are brainwashed by cell phones to trust cell phones, which are ultimately tracking them, including TikTok, right? So we see women, right, going out with their phones, going out with AI, and that system has every interest in putting them in gulags. They need to work with good men and communicate with good men that have a soul, instead of exiling those good men because they're programmed. Meanwhile, there's going to be an increase in men believing that they should human traffic women, that they must kidnap women, that they believe that they have to have a family, and that the only way that they can have a family and can have a child and can have, quote, their own army is to kidnap women. And this place is going to have a lot of it. It already does, right? So we're talking about unconscious women, unconscious men, not only around the world, but especially here. And it's not just here, but I'm able to focus on my environment around me and talk about it like nobody else. Before this, I exposed Portland. Before this, I exposed white supremacists in rural Colorado. And this is my current assignment. And it's through this current assignment and fulfilling it that I will end up in the best place possible here on earth before I die.